people mounted up. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Jude, I miss you, buddy.
We're doing this far too frequently, aren't we?
Well, I was going to say we have to stop meeting like this. We really do. Dude, seriously, always good to see you. Thank you for your time, man. I appreciate you.
My pleasure.
I feel like the opening scene of this series, you basically get to be Darth Vader in A New Hope. It really felt like a really cool throwback to that original trilogy, particularly that opening scene. I'm curious if that's something that you talked about on the day. And in the spirit of that, what is a great Star Wars moment, a past scene that you wish your character could have been a part of, just to know what it was like for how he would have reacted to a legendary moment?
You know, the directors did such a great job right across the board, and my goodness, I got to work with some wonderful directors on this series. All talked about, you know, leaning on the lore of Star Wars and looking to, you know, not mimic but recreate the mood of famous moments from the films that they loved. You know, whether it be the first three, the middle three, whatever, the prequels. So, of course, that was in discussion. And I should tell you that, you know, there are very specific shots that keep the canon all linked, and certain things you can't do, which I found intriguing. And a lot of it goes back to those first three. What and how did Lucas shoot this? How did he tell these stories? So, of course, that was constantly being discussed. If there was a scene, I think Jude would... I can see him in the cantina, and I would have loved an opportunity to see him in a cantina scene.
Now, when Obi-Wan strikes down the guy at the bar and chops off his arm, do you just sort of turn away, or do you like sort of pop and go, all right, I'm in, let's go?
Ooh, good question. Depends whose arm it is. Oh, well, if he's actually in there, yeah, good. I think he probably turns away and has a drink.
I'm just picturing you just sort of popping up the hood and being like, nope, not my problem, not my problem. This has always blown my mind, and you could sort of maybe just clarify exactly the details. You were roommates with Ewan McGregor.
Yes.
I'm curious, what do you remember hearing? I know you've stayed friends with him, about his experience as Obi-Wan, and did your memory of how he handled that entire situation and jumping into that world and how big it was for him, did that come into mind when you were deciding whether or not to do this?
Sadly, there was a sort of there's quite a distance between me doing this and him playing that part. And since then, he's lived in another country and had children, and our lives have somewhat sort of gone their separate ways, not for any reason other than just, you know, geography. But I remember him getting the part very, very well. I remember obviously the excitement we all had for him and him going off to shoot it. I think he shot it in Australia. And him being able to secretly tell us like little details and just the thrill. I think we were all just thrilled that they were picking up, you know, the mantle of the movies again and embarking on them after all those years. And talking about technical sort of approaches that none of us had ever experienced before. Because it was all sort of a new style to how they were, to anything any of us had experienced. And you know, you want to know, when I was asked, you want to know what's the concept, what's the character. I don't want to, you know, you don't want to drop the ball. You want to know that you can at least deliver. And there was so much potential in this role. He's so contradictory and multifaceted, and you know, a kind of is different things to different people. I just thought there was huge potential, and that I could have a lot of fun with it.
Well, you absolutely have a lot of fun with it. I'm going to get you out of here on this. So much of this series, I feel like, is about a kid's love of Star Wars, and I will never forget my dad taking me to the re-release of the original trilogy when they returned to theaters in the 90s. And I'm so grateful they introduced me to this. I literally have right here lightsabers framed on my wall. I'm sure everyone wants to know when you fell in love with Star Wars, but I'd love to know, as a dad, when did you decide it was the right time to introduce your kids to the series?
So I fell in love with it when it was first released. I was prime age. And, you know, it was synonymous to my love of cinema because I'd been to see, you know, Disney animated films, and then there was Star Wars, and I'd obviously, like everyone else, and there was nothing like it. It just completely changed cinema. And so I grew up with that thrill, that experience of going to the cinema with my family, and I just loved the inventiveness. I loved the leap of the imagination. And then when Ewan's 3 came out, the prequels, my eldest son was the perfect age, and he fell in love with it all again. And so watching that and encouraging that was a wonderful thing. And of course, I took him back and said, "Okay, you got to see these 3 though. these are the 3." Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for always being so kind to me, man. What do I always tell you is one of the greatest movies of all time?
Road to Perdition. I mean,
my man. I just want you to know, you and I've been doing this for a long time, and every single time you fit me in your schedule, and you're always very kind to me, and that's not lost to me. I just want you to know I really do appreciate you, man.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Well, next time I'm in Chicago, we'll go have a coffee.
I would love that, man. Right. Really would love that. I'll see you soon. Okay.
Bye. See ya.
Bye, buddy.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.